everyone. I'm May Lee. It's day 2 of the post-election madness, and Americans are sleep-deprived as we wait out the recount. Today, we're discussing what's next for the candidates and our country as America is still without a president-elect.
I'm Stephanie Miller. Do you believe in the vast carbohydrate conspiracy? Well, think again. One of New York City's top chefs is here to show us how to cook pasta the healthy way. Get ready for some low-fat cavatelli.
Looks good, Stephanie. I'm Monica Joseph. They've been rocking out for almost 20 years, and there's no end in sight. It's the Indigo Girls' 20th anniversary, and they're here with us live on today's Pure Oxygen. Coming up next, Music for a Cause with a live performance by the Indigo Girls. And later, Stephanie's going down to the Chelsea market for some healthy cooking. You're watching Pure Oxygen.
She's a vessel with no desires.
Welcome back to Pure Oxygen. That was Girl with the Weight of the World in Her Hands? That wasn't it, was it? Did we hear that? I don't think so.
You heard a snippet of it, didn't you?
Okay, I heard a little something. I can't help. There's voices in my head the whole week. That was from the Indigo Girls from Octaves Beyond the Silence Project, a benefit CD for women all over the world who are survivors of sexual torture, violence, and other abuse. Joining me to talk about the issues behind the music are Seema Wali, President and CEO of Refugee Women in Development Incorporated, Kathy LeMay, Deputy Director of Women for Women International, who also made her vocal debut on the CD. Rock on, sister. And, of course, Emily Salyers and Amy Ray of the Indigo Girls. Welcome, all of you guys. We're so thrilled that you could come.
Thank you.
Kathy, let's start with you. So, because, you know, I think it's kind of stunning, isn't it, when, we're in the middle of an election here in America, and, we're here in America worried about equal pay and certainly, other issues women are working on. But women around the world are nowhere near where Americans are in terms of equal treatment, are they?
What happens to women around the world is really startling, and what I found is the more people learn about it, the more they want to know what they can do to help. Back in 1994, when the war broke out in Bosnia and we heard about the rape camps, I decided I felt like I wanted to do something about it. So I traveled to the former Yugoslavia, and I met women who, hours before, had escaped rape camps that they had been kept in for 2 months. In Bangladesh, we are working with a 16-year-old girl who was gang raped, and when she told the rapist she was going to the police, they came back to her village and they threw sulfuric acid on her face. And these stories are not isolated. This is rampant, widespread, targeted violence against women. It's happening all throughout the world, even in the United States. In Afghanistan, as we'll hear from Seema, women are stoned to death in public, and that's witnessed by other people. And we pulled together this CD as a hope to raise awareness and raise funds.
Seema, that is an amazing story. You came from Afghanistan in 1978?
1979.
78,
sorry. Yeah.
Right, right. Now, because I know Jay Leno's wife, Mavis, I've spoken to, who also is working to help, I believe, Afghanistan women. But tell us a little bit about what happens to women in Afghanistan.
The oppression of women have been continuing for the past 21 years of war. Women are the major victims of the conflict, but what the Taliban are doing in this day and age to Afghan women is totally unprecedented in Afghan history and culture. For example, some of the violations that they are conducting against women is that they're keeping them from working outside of their homes. We have many war widows. At least in the capital city, we have between 50 and 60,000 war widows who are the sole wage earners in their own families. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to leave their homes without a male escort. They're not allowed to access health services. And most women are allowed to go out and feel the sunshine on their skin or use the public bathhouses, which are the only sources of warm water. And the list goes on and on. But what we really also don't hear about is we hear a lot about the Taliban abuses against Afghan women. We don't hear about the resistance of the Afghan men and their male supporters who are working to provide the critically needed human services in their own communities. For example, they're running the secret home-based schools because education is disallowed for girls and for women, and they're providing social services. They're conducting the human rights work and the human rights awareness, which is very risky for them to work under those conditions. They basically put their lives on the line to do this kind of work.
Well, I think all of us here we can hear you and we can know it's awful and try to help. how is it? I can't imagine having been through it yourself. I mean, how does that affect how you deal with it and how you experience this, trying to do this work?
I myself am a war victim. I left Afghanistan when the Afghan Marxists ruled Afghanistan, and many of my family members, my friends and my colleagues were massacred. I arrived in the U.S. at a time when there was a lot of attention being paid to provide covert and overt military assistance to the so-called freedom fighters to bring an end to the Soviet Union and to communism. But although women constituted the majority of the Afghan refugees and the war victims, no attention was being paid to them. So I co-founded Refugee Women in Development, REF, with my agency to bring attention to the needs of women, to protect and promote their human rights, and more importantly, to empower women to rebuild their lives, to provide the services that they're providing in their communities, and to support them to take active roles in rebuilding their war-torn societies.
That's terrific. Let's bring these guys in, because they've, I know, been a big part of this and a big help. Amy, let's start with you. Why did you guys get involved in this project?
Well, we like to support people that are doing great work and sort of help amplify the voice and put financial assistance towards that with whatever we can do, because these people are the ones that really know what's going on. They're in that community, they understand it, and women are all over the world. We've seen it, you know, victims of what we call like low-intensity warfare almost, you know, where they're used as targets because of their sex, you know, for rape and abuse. And I mean, we saw it in Chiapas with the women, the Zapatista women down there that are threatened to be raped by the soldiers when they're moving from one village to another constantly. And so I've seen it, and I just think what they're doing is amazing. I mean, I think it's hard, emotionally hard work, and I think it's amazing.
Well, I heard the song you guys did, and it is terrific. You got to tell us, Emily, do you mind if I read some lyrics?
That's fine.
I don't mean to embarrass you. You're a songwriter. I'm unbelievable. It's called "Girl with the Weight of the World in Her Hands." Some of the lyrics: she won't recover from her losses. She's not chosen this path, but she watches who crosses. Maybe move to the right, maybe move to the left, so we can all see her pain. She wears like a banner on her chest. What was the inspiration?
Well, it was written about a character who is very complex, obviously, with a lot of burden, and I purposely meant it to be obscure to a certain extent, because although it wasn't written about this situation, it's been applied to this situation, which is good. But it was about a woman who carried a very, very heavy burden and how it affected the other people around her and how we all thought about her and kept her in our consciousness. So it was sort of taken from like a personal story, and now it's been applied to something that's more universal.
Well, we're going to get to hear you guys sing in a bit. I really I congratulate all of you for the work that you're doing. I feel so shallow suddenly. I can't believe the important work you guys are doing in the world. Thank you so much for coming with us today.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
The Octaves Beyond Silence project is on sale now. If you want to buy the CD and support the cause, go to www.octavesbeyondsilence.com or call 800-634-6044. You can make a difference. Stay with us. The Indigo Girls are going to perform next. Monica, how about playing a little something from the Octave CD?
Here you go. Coming up next, the Indigo Girls perform live.
See her pain she wears like a banner on her chest. We all say it's sad, and we think.
Welcome back to Pure Oxygen. Our next guests are celebrating their 20-year anniversary as a duo. Their politically aware and conscious lyrics have held our attention for the duration, and their new album, Retrospective, is more than any Indigo fan could ask for. 14 vintage Indigo Girl tracks, handpicked, along with 2 new songs. Here to perform one of those new songs, Devotion, is Emily Sailors and Amy Ray, also known as the Indigo Girls.
Dirt road that is soon to be paved down to the side of my original establishment and the West End family grave. Now one day moves into Susan, I'm losing everything except for you. And I would sing you a song of devotion. That's what I should do. The blood runs thick, and when it rains, it pours breathing down. Well, I haven't much need to look forward. I just did one day moving, losing, and I'm losing everything except for you. I would sing you a song of devotion, book of days, and the way things lay. That's just space and time. Dedicated up for a love that won't be defined. We've had enough temporary acquisition and building fences for no gain, and taking dead trees down before the winter freeze. I said, let them rot and fall where they may. I'll just let one day moving and losing. I'm losing everything except for you. I would sing you a song of devotion. That's what I lived in for, where they make us. One day moves into two. I'm losing where things lay. Everything except for space and time. I would sing you a song of devotion. Your love, that's what I should do. That's what I should do. That's what I should do.
Devotion, the Indigo Girls. Now you ladies are going to hang out and sing some vintage Indigo Girls for us later, right?
Here we are.
All right, very good. Coming up later in the show, hi. Welcome back to Pure Oxygen. I'm here with our very special guests, Emily Sailors and Amy Ray, also known as the Indigo Girls. They're celebrating 20 years in the business with their new CD, Retrospective. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
And being only 21, 20 years is very impressive to me. Now, 15 years recording together. I'm not 21, I'm teasing.
Gullible.
So 15 years actually recording together, but 20 years knowing each other and actually playing as a duo.
Known each other longer than 20 years. We started playing together in high school, so that's why we say 20.
Yeah, you're like
We
sisters.
started playing professional gigs in high school.
High school. Now tell me about your Honor the Earth tour. This is a big thing for you guys.
It is. Honor the Earth is something that it's a group that we started many, many years ago with Indian activists like Winona LaDuke and members of the Indigenous Women's Network and the Indigenous Environmental Network. And basically what it does is raise money and awareness for Indian environmental grassroots groups. And there are over 200 native-run groups across the Americas. And so we go out and play concert tours and try to raise money, and then there's individual funding, and it all goes into a fund. And then these groups apply for grants to be funded by Honor the Earth. And then all the decisions are made by a board consisting of indigenous peoples. So Amy and I are just sort of like vehicles for the change, but we don't make the decision where the money goes. And then we go out and visit reservations, play on reservations, play in American cities, urban
You're very
cities.
involved.
Yeah, I mean, we helped start the group, and the work that these communities are doing,
Extremely important.
it's very important. I mean, it's like a handful of community members fighting multinational corporations. You know, the whole nuclear industry that wants to take all this high-level nuclear waste from East Coast reactors, ship it across where 50 million Americans live within half a mile of where they live, and then dump it on sacred Indian land.
So this money you raise for them makes a big difference in their fight.
Yeah, I mean, because they're operating on shoestring budgets, and a lot of times they don't have the political or social voice that they deserve, and so we just try to help implement that.
Now, some other people supported you on this tour. Tell me who else performed with you.
Well, we had Jackson Brown out, Joan Baez, Dar Williams, Bonnie Raitt came out.
Who didn't join you? Maybe I should ask that.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people that
When
didn't want
is
to
the
do
next
it.
Honor the Earth tour?
It'll be in a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it about every 2 or 3 years.
And if people want more information on Honor the Earth, they can go to indigogirls.com.
Yeah,
That's right.
No,
Correct?
indigogirls.com.
Now tell me briefly about Susan Faludi, who's a writer. She has an essay on your new CD retrospective that I thought was very interesting.
It's quite an honor.
Well, she is an incredible writer and journalist and a feminist activist, and I've known her for years and always considered her a mentor and loved her last book, Stiffed, which is an incredible book that didn't receive its full the attention it should have. And I just called her and said, would you write something about it? Because she knew us. She knew our music when she lived in Atlanta a long time ago when we were starting out.
It's very interesting. Retrospective is a CD. Ladies, you can get ready and
All right,
perform
okay.
for us. Here to perform Galileo, one of my favorite, is Vintage Indigo Girls from their new CD, Retrospective. It has 14 vintage cuts, handpicked by Amy and Emily themselves, and 2 new ones, Devotion you heard earlier. Here are the Indigo Girls performing Galileo.
Galileo's head was on the block. The crime was looking up the truth. And as the bombshells of my daily fears explode, I try to trace them to my youth. And then you had to bring up reincarnation over a couple of beers the other nights. And now I'm serving time for mistakes made by another in another lifetime. How long till my soul gets it right? Will any human being ever reach that kind of life? I call on the resting soul of Galileo, king of night vision, king of insight. Yeah, I think about my fear of motion, which I never could explain. Some other fool across the ocean years ago must have crashed his little airplane. How long till my soul gets it right? Can any human being ever reach that kind of life? I call on the resting soul, Galileo, king of night vision, king of insight. And I'm not making a joke, you know me, I take everything so seriously. And if we'll wait for the time till our souls get it right, well then at least I know there'll be no nuclear annihilation in my lifetime. I'm still not right. Yeah. But thanks to those before me, that's all I've got to say. 'Cause maybe you squandered big bucks in your lifetime, now I have to pay. But then again it feels like some sort of inspiration to let the next life off the hook. Or she'll say, look what I had to overcome from my last life. I think I'll write a book. How long till my soul gets it right? Can any human being ever reach the highest life? Except for Galileo, God, yes, his soul, king of night vision, king of insight. How long
Perspective is in stores now. Water cooler's up next. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Pure Oxygen. We haven't had this kind of audience up here.
Man.
This is so king of night vision, king of